A few weeks ago, I started working at a computer refurbisher who I have been working with for a little bit now, and I can now tell you guys my experiences with that and actually just kind of tell you what exactly has been going on in my life in general, because that is quite literally all that I've been doing for the past year or so. It's just life updates on Koen's Corner, because Koen's Corner is now basically just a show where I just kind of talk about whatever the heck I want to talk about off the cuff, and not that much scripted stuff anymore, because this is the kind of content that I can put out at a much more consistent pace without having many large gaps in between videos. So what exactly has been happening to me then in the last couple of weeks? It's been quite a bit, actually. First of all, like I said, I have a job. I work at a computer refurbisher who I have been working at for a couple of weeks. And it has been really, really exciting, really, really fun. I've been really enjoying it. And it is also a big reason why production on videos, especially the very big scripted videos that I like to produce, has become a lot slower than it pretty much ever has been. Making content has become a lot more difficult than it ever has been to do, mainly because of a massive lack of free time that I have. Because the truth is, I just don't really have much. I just don't really have that much time anymore. And a big reason for that is that making YouTube content the way that I like to make it, making the videos that I want to produce, just take a really long time. And I am not somebody who prefers just half-assing one big project that I want to produce, that I want to work on and all that, just to have a quick video out. I did that a little while ago with the Elio video, which had a much more simplistic editing style to it, because the movie just was not available anywhere. I could not find any footage of it, and the only footage that I could find came from the trailer, which barely resembles or barely even shows any images that I wanted to show in the actual video. And I had to omit a lot of imagery that I really wanted to show in the final video because of it, unfortunately. But it was a topic that I really wanted to discuss, because I had a lot of passion, a lot of heart went into that video, and I really wanted to get it out here. So in the end, I'm pretty happy that I ended up making it, and that I got the opportunity to actually release it on here. And I'm actually kind of glad with the result as well. It came out pretty decently, although I definitely wish that it was a little bit more elaborate than what it ended up being. But you know, you can't win them all, unfortunately. Yeah, it's just not something that I prefer. I don't prefer half-assing a video for the sake of just having a video out for people to see. I really badly want to put as much effort into my content as I possibly can, so that you can actually have something relatively decent to watch while you're doing whatever it is that you typically do on a day. And that unfortunately just has not been especially possible with the way that my life is right now. For the longest time, video content has actually been more than a little bit challenging for me to produce, because I really want my content to evolve in a whole new way. I want my content to be even better than it ever has been. I want to make something actually meaningful, something that I can actually say I'm genuinely proud of producing, because the truth is, I just have not been especially happy with a lot of the content that I've been putting out on this channel in the last couple of years. And it all comes down to the kind of content that I was producing for the longest time, you know. A lot of the videos that I made were animation related, and they were typically pretty much only review style content, and that is just not the kind of content that I enjoy making anymore. I would much rather just talk about something genuinely meaningful that animation tends to discuss. And that was actually kind of why I made that Elio video the way that I did. It wasn't necessarily a critique of the movie itself. It was a critique on, I shouldn't actually say critique. It was more of an essay about loneliness and how loneliness is represented by a number of Pixar movies. Because I do strongly believe that Elio represents Pixar in a much more meaningful way than I think it is often being given credit for. A lot of people just... the opinions that I've seen on Elio have been incredibly mixed. Like, some people just really did not care that much for it. Some people just saw Elio as in the character Elio and just saw him as a very annoying little kid without all that much to him. And some people just did not like it, period. And honestly, that's fair. I can see all of the arguments being made that that Elio is not as great of a movie as Pixar, as most of other Pixar movies, because Pixar tend to put out some insanely good stuff, and I absolutely love Pixar for the kind of work that they do. But I saw something in Elio that a lot of people just did not see, and again, that is, it's a very subjective thing. Like, I know that some people probably won't be able to get what I got out of Elio, because it's just, I don't know. It's one of those things where some people just are not going to get it for one reason or another. Maybe it's just because that it's just not as good of a movie as most of Pixar's stuff, or maybe there's something else to it. I don't know, but it was genuinely special to me, and I think that I just really wanted to make a video on it, and that is why I ended up making the video that I did. I wish that I could have done a little bit more with it, but, you know, it is what it is. Sometimes you just gotta compromise in areas that you just don't want to compromise on for one reason or another, and that is all part of the process. It is all part of being a content creator, and it's all part of just doing something creative in general. It's not just YouTube content where you sometimes have to compromise in order to get anything done. The same can also be said for photography. Hey, diamonds. Nice. The same could be said for any sort of art, really. It doesn't really matter what kind of art you're into. Sometimes you're just gonna have to compromise on certain areas. And in this particular instance, for me, it was the overall visual presentation of it that I had to compromise on. A shame, but yeah, it is what it is. But anyway, videos like that, I just really am not a huge fan of. I realize that sometimes I just gotta make videos like that if I want to keep a consistent upload schedule, but, you know, consistency and PhoenixStarYT just have never really gone hand in hand. Let's be real about that, but, you know, that's a different story for a completely different day. If I ever wanted to tell a little bit about that. But, yeah, because of my job, that was the whole thing that I wanted to discuss initially, was my job. Because of the job that I currently have, let me just actually tell you guys how my day looks right now. So, I'm at work around from 8 to 5. I don't really have all that much time between me getting off of work, getting dinner, and then having to make videos. I have like 2 hours at most every single day to just sit at my computer and do whatever the heck I desire. I have very little time to relax as a result, and I have to go to bed at like 9 p.m. Or 21 in terms of the 24-hour clock, or whatever. So I don't really have a whole lot of time on my pause right now to get much of anything done in terms of video content. I do try to. I do try to get some sort of content out when I can, or to at the very least work on content when I'm at home, and I use those few hours that I have to do what little I can on any sort of YouTube content. But it's really tough because sometimes something just comes up where that takes up pretty much all of the free time that I have. And basically, when I finally have everything done, I have to go to bed, essentially. So that's what I do. And the reason why I have to go to bed at an extremely early time is because I travel via public transport, and I have to get up from bed around 5:20 a.m., which is pretty ridiculous in all honesty, but it's I unfortunately don't really have that much of a choice because my train drives like once every 30 minutes, which is really annoying because that means that I basically just don't really have any room. I don't have any time to spare. I have to get up really early in the morning, and I also have to go to bed really early in the evening because otherwise I would just get sleep deprived very quickly, and that is not good for the kind of work that I do. I work at an IT job, and if you don't know much about IT jobs, there is very little to no room for error. So if you end up making errors because you barely get any sleep whatsoever, that is a huge problem. So that is just something that I cannot afford to do, unfortunately. So yeah, I basically just have to make sure that I don't make any errors as much as I possibly can. And if that means that I have to go to bed very early in the evening, then that's just the way that it is, unfortunately. There's really not a whole lot that I can do about it. So that is unfortunately a little... That's sadly a little bit frustrating that it has to be like that. But you know, like I said, it is what it is. There's really not a whole lot that I can do about that right now, because I also don't really have a driver's license, and I also, admittedly, don't really have any desire whatsoever to get my driver's license. Because the thing is, I have a fear of driving. So, and I know that I could possibly see a doctor about that and see if we can resolve that whole issue. And get my driver's license anyway. It's a problem that can be resolved, but it's a problem that I honestly don't really have any desire to resolve, because even if I didn't have a fear of driving, I forget what the technical term for that was, by the way. That's why I call it that, because I don't know what the technical term for that was, or the medical term, I guess. But even if I didn't have that, it's also just really freaking expensive where I live. I don't know how it is in other countries, but driving classes can cost about as much as 500 euros per class. Of course, it kind of depends on the teacher, on the driving school you go to. But yeah, it can still get really ridiculously expensive to get a driver's license, and it doesn't even end there. If you once I have my driver's license, I don't even have a car that I could possibly drive. I don't really I cannot really borrow a car because they are usually already occupied a lot of the time, and I just don't really have that much of an opportunity to get a car in the first place. And if you know anything about cars, you know that cars are bloody expensive. Like, they are so incredibly expensive. They're not that much of a luxury item anymore, because you can get them for relatively cheap. You can even get payment plans for it. So if you if you don't want to pay in full immediately, you can just get a payment plan and do it that way. But still, it's a lot of freaking money to spend on a car that I honestly am not entirely certain if I will get that much enjoyment out of. A lot of people tell me that once you get a car, it's hard to go back. And once I get a car, I really start to miss it when I don't have it. But honestly, I'm also just perfectly happy just traveling via public transport and traveling with my bicycle, because I like biking. I like traveling via train. It's chill. It's nice. I love it, and I could not trade it for anything else, honestly. It's genuinely just a lot more enjoyable to me to just do it this way than it was to ever do it any other way. So, I don't know if I could get that much enjoyment, as much enjoyment out of driving a car as I currently am enjoying just biking and traveling via train, because it's just a really chill way to travel, in my opinion. And also, biking just makes me feel absolutely free and amazing, and I would not trade it for anything else if I could help it. So it's a very personal thing. I know that most people genuinely love their cars, and they could not trade it for anything else. But then there's another thing. I am not most people. I'm really, really unique in these kinds of ways. So, yeah, I am not gonna be getting my driver's license anytime soon. It's not something that I have any desire for, and I don't know if I ever will have a desire for it. So, I am... What am I doing? I am a complete doofus. Why am I getting leather for something that I don't even need? Oh, do I have any wood on me at all? No, of course not. My chests were recently griefed. We had to deal with some piece of shit who thought it would be funny to pretty much take all of the chests from other players. So pretty much all of my stuff was gone when I last joined my my Minecraft server, and that was true for a lot of other players, unfortunately. I've had some people reach out to me asking if they could possibly get some stuff back, and I was like, sure, if they took anything valuable that you would like to get back, then just let me know and I will give it back to you really soon. So that's what I ended up doing. Really frustrating. If you're going to hop onto this Minecraft server, just don't be a piece of shit and go out of your way to ruin other people's gaming experience. Just get on here, have some fun, build something crazy, go out mining or whatever. Griefing is just strictly not allowed for reasons that I would hope go without saying. But yeah, that's a story for another day. I'm not going to go too much into that stuff because, I don't know, that just doesn't really seem like something that I would want to do today. Another thing that I wanted to talk about today is something a lot more exciting for the PhoenixStarYT channel, I think. What on earth is this? Oh, this was probably one of Dusty's builds. Oh my goodness, this is amazing. Dusty, why did I say Busty? Oh god. Dusty makes some pretty incredible stuff. I love the stuff that she makes in this Minecraft server. She built this giant tree that I'm honestly kind of happy that... actually, no, that's really inaccurate. I'm really happy that the tree is still intact. I would have been really upset that the tree, if the tree was just completely gone all of a sudden because of some asshole just destroying everything. They did try to set some places on fire, but unfortunately, for them at least, fire tick is disabled on this, and TNT explosions are also disabled. So you could not destroy this place with TNT explosions or fire, even if you wanted to. What I would like to see, though, because recently I've had some people ask me if I could enable mob grieving again because they wanted to do something with villagers. I guess they were trying to breed villagers or whatnot. So Let me just try this out real quick. See what happens. Yeah, map griefing is definitely enabled. Okay, this is definitely going to be a problem in the long term, I think. But the town, luckily, is pretty well lit up, so that should not give us that many problems. But anyway, what I wanted to talk about, and something that might be a little bit more interesting for the PhoenixStarYT channel itself, is that I decided that I wanted to switch away from Adobe software, and I made the switch to DaVinci Resolve for video editing and GIMP for my thumbnails, which is something that I had been wanting to do for the longest time. However, due to my freelance editing work, that was kind of out of the question for the longest time, because I needed Adobe Premiere Pro for my freelance editing work, and I also just had a lot of trouble just moving away from Photoshop over to GIMP, because GIMP has a very different interface to what Photoshop has, and it also works just very differently from what Photoshop is. So it was always just a little bit scary to switch away from what I have come to know and love to hate, or hate to love, I guess. I don't know exactly how I would describe it, because it's kind of it's really weird. My feelings towards Adobe has been a love-hate relationship. When it worked, it was awesome, but a lot of the times it just did not work, and it was often just a detriment to my work, which is really frustrating, because I depended on Adobe software for such a long time to get my work done. Hey, my cows are... Oh, no. Why is the fence gate open here? Oh, God, that is going to be a nightmare and a half. Okay. You all should get right back inside of there. Oh, no. Oh, no. No, 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 no. Oh, shit, man. Oh, why was the fence gate open? Okay, good enough. Close it. Close it! Oh, my goodness. Ah, come in here. Come in here. And don't ever come out of there again. I don't remember opening that fence gate. I don't know why it was open. Oh, gosh. Okay, yeah, that is going to be frustrating. We lost a bunch of cows. I'm not going to bother getting all of those cows back, because that's really annoying. But yeah, switching away from Adobe software was just it was scary, but it was also it was also very necessary. I knew, because Adobe was becoming a detriment to my work, and I did not want to bother with them anymore. Software just kept crashing. Every new update introduced something really cool, but at the same time, it also introduced something really frustrating. I've had my timeline just really not cooperating with me. I had lots of performance problems, and even with my beefy as hell PC, Premiere Pro just gives my computer a stroke for whatever reason, and it just doesn't work great. So I wanted to switch away from Adobe, and I finally was able to make the switch. So I did that, and now I'm using DaVinci Resolve for all of my editing work, and it has been absolutely awesome. One thing that I especially love about DaVinci Resolve is that it makes it so much easier for me to apply certain transitions that I like to use. If you watch any of my, or if you've watched any of my recent big videos that I made, you would probably know that I've been using a lot of seamless transitions. And a lot of seamless transitions on Adobe Premiere Pro are bunch of layer transitions, which is basically where you take a bunch of layers on top of each other and you make one hell of a transition out of it. It was great for the transition because the transitions looked freaking awesome. However, unfortunately, they just made the whole timeline really messy, and it was also just a little annoying to apply them. Because they were usually inside of a completely different Adobe Premiere project file that I would then have to import, and then I had to put all of those layers on top of each other inside of one sequence, and it was just... I truly... I didn't necessarily despise doing it. I had a lot of fun using those transitions, and the trade-off was absolutely worth it. But it was just a little annoying a lot of the time. On top of that, it also just tended to, once again, give my computer a stroke whenever I even dared to apply the simplest of seamless transitions. And there's a very big reason as to why it does that, or why it doesn't exactly have the greatest performance. And the reason for that is that Premiere is very CPU based, meaning that most of its workload is running off of the CPU, which is really annoying. It's honestly just not the best way to do it, and I don't know why it works like that. But it just does, and there's really not a whole lot that I can do about it, unfortunately. I wish I could. I really wish I could make it so that it wouldn't just run on the CPU and also run on the GPU, because I have a beefy as hell GPU that I bought, that I ordered inside of this computer, or that I got with this computer, specifically so that I could do some proper editing with it. But unfortunately, it doesn't want to do it. It doesn't... Premiere Pro just doesn't want to grab my GPU. It only wants to grab the CPU, which can only handle so much. And I forgot that I was missing a large chest over here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, like I said, I lost pretty much everything. I once had a library over here that I wanted to make. And, yeah, as you can see, it is completely gone. There's literally nothing left of it, unfortunately. So, I have to redo all of this stuff. Which, as you can probably imagine, is extremely annoying. I hate this. I hate griefers, and I honestly just don't understand why someone would do something like that. But anyway, that's a different story for a different day, like I said. But yeah, this is just Adobe Premiere Pro did me really well. I enjoyed it for what I needed to do with it, but I also knew that I had to switch away from it and use DaVinci Resolve from this point forward. So that's what I'm doing right now. It's a little bit of a learning curve, to be honest, to use something completely different from what I've come to get used to for so long. I've been used to Adobe software for so many years. It's really bizarre having to switch away from it and just use something else entirely all of a sudden. It's genuinely such a weird experience, but at the same time, it's also a really fun experience, because now I actually get to relearn everything that I once knew about video editing. And that is a huge part of this kind of stuff that I honestly really enjoy. Most people would really not like it, but like I said, I am not most people. I get a lot of enjoyment out of this kind of stuff, and that is exactly why I wanted to do it in the first place. That is exactly why I'm currently using DaVinci Resolve in the first place, and it is also exactly why I would recommend everyone else using DaVinci Resolve. Well, that, and on top, and also the fact that DaVinci Resolve is just such an amazing video editor. If you're using, if you're planning on doing any sort of content creation on YouTube, do yourself a favor and just pick up a copy of DaVinci Resolve. You can get the free version for it, and it will come with most features that you will probably need, and it will work absolutely fantastically. I cannot recommend DaVinci Resolve enough to anybody. Also, this looks incredibly weird. I just now noticed that, and I don't have any glowstone on me anymore, because that also got... Oh my goodness. Getting all of that stuff back is gonna be a nightmare. But anyway, yeah, that's about it. So yeah, that is pretty much all that's currently going on. I'm learning DaVinci Resolve. I'm currently working on some pretty big projects, which can take quite a while to get done because of me and having a job now, and that job taking up most of my time these days. So it's going to take a while for me to produce any sort of content. Maybe I will produce some very minimal essay style videos in the form of that Elio video that I did the other day. I don't know what this spot was for. Maybe it was for chickens or whatever. Well, those chickens are right now right over there, so I don't think that exactly went over very well. But yeah, I'll be working on some very epic stuff in the following weeks, which I'm really excited to show off to you once it's done. With all of that being said, I thank you all for watching this video. I want to thank you all for your patience for all this time. I know that my viewership has not exactly been stellar recently, but for the very few people who do still watch my content and who are still here waiting for the next Koen's Corner to come up, I thank you very much for your patience. It is very much appreciated. And I will see you whenever the heck I see you. Thank you all for watching again. And yeah, have a very nice rest of your day.